This segment brought to you by Kansas Farm Bureau, the voice of agriculture. To join today or for more information, go to kfb.org or find us on Facebook and Twitter.
Welcome to Farm Factor. Kyle is at the Risk and Profit Conference with Mykel Taylor to talk about determining land values in the state.
Hi, this is Kyle Bauer visiting with Mykel Taylor. She's a professor at Kansas State University in the Ag-Econ department. We'll be talking land values. I'm visiting with her at the Risk and Profit Conference. I was interested as I sat in on your talk. Land value data is difficult.
It is. Kansas is a non-disclosure state, so actually you and I can't go see what everybody's bought and sold ground for. Only licensed appraisers can do that. So actually we see maybe what our neighbor sold for or an auction, but we're pretty limited on the number of sales that we can actually observe in the marketplace.
And does that lack of data affect anything? Does it hurt things? Does it help things?
I think it affects our ability to accurately answer USDA surveys on land values. So when they send that survey around, people, unless you're buying and selling ground actively, they don't necessarily know where the market is at. And so they're given their best guess. But I think sometimes it can cause problems with whether or not the survey is terribly accurate relative to market.
You see almost monthly in a publication of some kind, it seemed like to me high values that land has sold for, but maybe one or two in a state. Do you think most of the time those are representative?
I think it really depends. On some of those sales, they can be representative of the market, and in other cases, you might have two neighbors bidding against each other, and you end up with a higher than market value on that ground. The trick, I think, is we at K-State were able to work with the property valuation department out of Topeka, and we get data that allows us to look at the entire market. And so sometimes people are a little bit surprised at the numbers that we get, but I just have to remind them that we're able to look at all the different sales, even the private treaty sales and things like that everybody else is not able to see.
Kansas is a big state with differences in rainfall and differences in land use. What have you seen for trends and values in the state of Kansas?
Well, there's a lot of localization to land markets, so we have to be careful sometimes about generalizing across the state. But overall, in the past 4 years, we've seen about a 20% decline in land values. And that seems like a lot, and I won't say that it isn't, but we had such a run-up in the 2011 to 2014 period where land values were going up by 15 to 20% every year. And so we've cut back a little bit on that value. What you see in local markets is that you'll sometimes see, a sale of high quality land, and that'll make people think that the market's still strong. But maybe you've got, other pieces of land and other qualities of land, and that might be more reflective of what the market's actually doing.
And I know you look at Kansas data, but surely you go to meetings. If we're down 20, is that kind of indicative nationwide, or are we an anomaly?
We're not an anomaly. I look at Iowa, I look at the rest of the Corn Belt, and we've all adjusted back. I mean, profitability in the ag sector, has not supported land values for the last few years, and so everybody's land values have made some kind of an adjustment relative to where we were in 2015.
As I look at reduction in land values, I think about balance sheets. Do you get inquiries for that, for farmers determining their balance sheet and or their lenders and or estate settlements?
Yes, we do get quite a bit of inquiries about that. We also have our Ag Lenders Conference in October, and we talk a lot with the lenders at that point in time about where land values are at. And I will say, even though we dropped off or contracted about 20%, land values are still holding better than what you might think, given where profitability is. And so everybody is sort of, I think, a little bit nervous as to where things are headed. That's the big question: is are we going to stabilize, or is it going to go down a little bit more? And that's really uncertain given profitability, given the uncertainty in the trade, situation, and just the forecast for grain prices not necessarily being stronger over the next couple of years.
This is Kyle Bauer reporting.
Thanks, Kyle. Stay tuned for this week's Kansas soybean update coming up right after these messages.